Having the first overall pick in fantasy can be a little intimidating, but if you attack it the right way with this strategy, you're going to walk out of your draft with the best roster in your league. Important note for each position. Quarterbacks, this is a tough one if you want an elite guy like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Jaden Daniels. Only way you get them is if you reach for them late second, early third with that back-to-back pick you have, but I suggest you don't because the quarterbacks later on are really good with high upside. Running backs are a little odd. You got to get creative, especially as the later rounds go, but if you prioritize an elite guy at the end of round 2, if he's there, you're going to be in excellent shape. Wide receivers, for all I care, this is the best place to draft from in fantasy football. You get Jamar Chase, you get the high upside guys in round 7 and 8, and in those middle rounds, there's plenty of wide receiver ones on their respective teams that are going to be available for you. And tight end, it's kind of Trey McBride or bust. You can take him at the end of round 2, but the other guys, again, will go between your 2nd and 3rd, 4th and 5th, and even 6th and 7th round picks. Doesn't mean you can't get guys later on. Let's get into it. We are going to be using RotoWire's mock draft tool because it goes extremely in-depth with your draft strategy as well as players that you like. In terms of how we are doing this, we're going to call this 101. This is a 12-team mock draft, full PPR. And when we get into the actual strategy and the draft plan, we'll make a new one. Early rounds, we're going to keep it as balanced as possible. When we're taking Jamar Chase with the first overall pick, we feel really confident in him. Those 2nd, 3rd, 4th round picks are other guys we're feeling confident in, not necessarily aiming for upside with those picks. In the middle rounds and the late rounds, though, we can aim for upside. Early rounds, middle rounds, late rounds, as it relates to ADP, we're going to keep it the same. In terms of factors, you can change this. Right now, I have this auto set. You can look at everything right here and copy it if you want to. And then in terms of draft plans, specific players' targets we want to get, I'm going to skip this. Every single person has their own different targets. All of my targets are on my socials. There are links in the description for those. Make sure you follow if you're not already. We'll skip player targets and players to avoid and get into this mock draft. Again, with the first overall pick, I think I've said it 3 times in this video, we are going to take Jamar Chase, and we're not going to think twice about it. The issue is when we get to right around here, 24 and 25, we have to see who's going to be available. So you can go look over here at some of this stuff, the cheat sheet, the ADP, 20, 21, 22. There are guys that are right there that I absolutely love and would love if they fell to me. Here's how you have to attack this pick, and we'll take our first overall pick right now, Jamar Chase. Here's how you attack this pick. Let's see who's available for us. If there is a running back there, an elite tier running back, like a Jonathan Taylor, you have to take him. You can't think twice about it because those elite running backs are going to be few and far between. Again, it's tough with these 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks that are back-to-back, where all of these guys that we all really like will literally go between our picks. So you have to be aggressive with the guys you want. And if a guy like Jonathan Taylor falls, you absolutely need to take him. So Jonathan Taylor, I've seen Devon Achane fall. I've seen Kyron Williams fall. You have to take him. Be careful and be wary, though. Chase Brown is a guy that I think he might still be on the board, is a guy that you could take here. Understand, and I've done this, I've figured this out through trial and error, you are still taking a stack in an offense. Granted, it's a really good offense. An offense is going to score a lot of points, but you are taking a stack in an offense. I personally don't mind. I know a lot of you do, though. If you mind, you don't like taking 2 players in the same offense in your starting lineup, especially 1st and 2nd round picks, beware. Sometimes it can slip your mind. We're going to take Jonathan Taylor with this pick here. And then in the 3rd round, we have to attack this a certain way because the tight ends that are going to be available for us later on, not going to be great. Not going to be great. The high upside guys like David Njoku, you have to reach for. And when you're reaching for him in those rounds, there are really, really nice wide receivers and even running backs that are available that can make a huge difference on your team. So if Trey McBride is there, I think you do take him. I love the value for Tyreek Hill. It's really hard to pass up, but I know for a fact there are going to be other wide receivers in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round that I love. So we're going to take Trey McBride here and wait to see who is on the board for us, taking the best player available in the 4th and 5th round. See, this is what I mean. A guy like Omarion Hampton who falls, this is the value you can't say no to. You have to take him. However, when you're picking here, look at the wide receivers who are available. I've made multiple videos on DK Metcalf and the Steelers. You have to take Aaron Rodgers, wide receiver 1, regardless of how bad you think the rest of the offense is going to be. He's going to get double-digit targets. And you can see on RotoWire here the little descriptions. Top team need, wide receiver, easy full season schedule, injury risk, knock on wood, relatively low, peak age range for a wide receiver. DK Metcalf has to be the pick here. Here's where we need to battle internally, though. I have been looking and doing mock drafts where I know for a fact, 72, 73, high upside guys like Jerry Jeudy and Calvin Ridley are going to be available. I really, really, really like George Pickens. I do. However, Omarion Hampton, the upside is too good. That offense is too good. They're going to run the ball a bunch. He has to be the pick here. He has to be the pick. So we're going to wait, and this is through trial and error. This is why you guys watch these videos, so I can give you the best information possible. I've done probably 36 mock drafts from this specific spot to figure out who's available. And what did I say? Which two receivers did I say would be available here for us? Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley. Now, I love Calvin Ridley more than Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy to me is just the wide receiver one in an offense that's going to stink. But Calvin Ridley is a guy who was really good last year, has an actual quarterback throwing the ball, and there's just no other competition on his roster in that room. So we're getting two really high upside guys with tight end already on our roster, both running back positions figured out. And again, quarterbacks, it's a weird spot, but I love waiting for guys like, even Bo Nix is on the board right now, but I love waiting for guys like Justin Herbert's going to be very good. Jared Goff is still on the board. There's plenty of other quarterbacks that you can wait for that are going to give you very similar production to guys taking rounds before them. Like Patrick Mahomes is the guy I always like to highlight, but even Bo Nix, like I don't mind waiting and passing on Bo Nix because I think guys like maybe Brock Purdy, but Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, Dak Prescott's my guy. They can give you those same numbers, very similar production while you're getting better swings at the bat with receivers. So Jerry Jeudy and Calvin Ridley are going to be our picks right now. And we will pull over to the roster right now. So this is what it looks like after 7 rounds. We have both of our running backs who I really like. We have Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, and then an interchangeable flex here with Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley. And we have an elite tight end, guys. This roster is really good. And like I said, it's all because we were a little aggressive and creative with running back and tight end. We knew the receivers we were going to get were really good. And now we're just taking the best player available with a little bit of a priority for quarterback. So looking at the quarterbacks who are on the board right now, I do like Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy would be a good pick. But at the same time, like, I love Dak. Dak has elite fantasy numbers. Dak is a guy who I've talked multiple times about in an offense that's going to be really good, but on a team that's going to stink. He's thrown a CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson. Like, he is throwing the ball so much. It's a pass-heavy offense, even with the new offensive coordinator. I love Dak Prescott. Here's the issue, though. You can see the percentage here. 48% chance to be taken before the next pick. The other guys who are on the board right now, positionally, running back, J.K. Dobbins is a solid pick. We can take Najee to almost get a handcuff to Omarion Hampton. He's probably going to be gone next pick. What you can also do is scroll down and see who the highest upside players are. And again, this is all on RotoWire. There's a link in the description for that. You can use code LEADS to get 15% off. But this is all on RotoWire, and they have all of these breakdowns for you. The rookie running backs, I love Jaden Blue as a guy. I'm going to add him to my queue. He's probably not going to go before the next pick. However, I do feel like we should take one more running back here. It's tough. Do we take a J.K. Dobbins and a Najee Harris, a guy who has more correlation to the guys that are on our roster? Or do we take, the best running back available, or who we think is the best running back available, maybe a guy like Zach Charbonnet or Jordan Mason, who's going to wind up splitting reps with Aaron Jones? I think the best pick right now, because we have Omarion Hampton and there's question marks with how Harbaugh is going to use these guys, is Najee Harris. That's an elite handcuff. And then in the next round, we straight up take the best player on the board, because I am so gung-ho on Stephon Diggs, the production he is going to have in New England. I absolutely need to get the number one wide receiver on a team that I think is going to be better and have a good connection with Drake May. And I think we're going to find Drake May later on in the draft, but we're going to wait till our next pick. We'll look at our roster again. So Jaden Blue is still on the board, which is great. We go to our roster right now, and you can go like this to the insights. You can color code the players that you have on your roster. So we are team 1. We have, we don't have our quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end flex, and then more bench spots. And you look at the quarterbacks who are still available. I mean, look at these guys. You keep passing on quarterbacks, they're going to keep giving you value at other positions. Now, I do think we need to take a quarterback here, because Dak, you can see, or 99% chance he's drafted with the next pick. I'm taking Dak, which is great. We have our starting quarterback. Now it's a matter of Jaden Blue. We're clicking on Jaden Blue, and we're seeing, okay, 84% chance that he's drafted before our next pick. We have 5 really good receivers. I'm not even thinking about receiver. We have Jaden Blue. We have an elite tight end, so we don't necessarily need to prioritize a solid backup. We can take an upside-oriented pick. Maybe it's Kyle Pitts. Maybe it is. But looking at some of the guys like Brenton Strange, I really like, who's a guy who's going to be available. I wonder about Drake May's availability. 72% chance to be drafted before the next pick. Looking at the best overall players, I think we have to take the upside running back pick in Jaden Blue. Well, let's check out any other running backs who are still available. But to me, I mean, Jaden Blue is the best pick on the board here. I don't think we think twice about it. Now, 12th, 13th, again, this is roster filling. We need a backup quarterback, backup tight end. Drake May is still on the board. To me, I think that's almost a no-brainer. I do really like Trevor Lawrence. If you can't get Drake May, I do like Trevor Lawrence a lot. I do think we take our backup quarterback and Drake May right now. And then it's tough. These tight ends who are still available, this is tough. I think Brenton Strange is the guy, but he may not be, like, he's probably going to be their next pick. So add him to our queue and look at the running backs who are on the board. A guy like Ray Davis, Trey Benson. Rico Dowdle is an interesting handcuff because Chuba Hubbard's obviously been very good, but they brought in an extra 1,000-yard rusher. I love the value. To me, he's the most disrespected 1,000-yard rusher maybe in the history of the NFL. But I think we take Rico Dowdle strictly for the value, and then now we're in a spot where we're going to be at 168. Brenton Strange is still there, so we'll take Brenton Strange. And now we're just looking at defense and kicker. I mean, there are some really good defenses who are available for us. And the nice thing with this first overall pick is most of the time, a lot of kickers and defenses won't be drafted until the very end. And if you have the first pick in the 15th round, you're going to get to pick the litter. Now, in terms of defenses, I would want, you get 4 games against the Browns and the Steelers here with Baltimore. I mean, it's Baltimore or Denver has the best defense in the NFL, period. But Houston will get a great schedule. Who's going to get after the quarterback the most? Probably Houston, then Baltimore. I still think Baltimore is the best defense in the NFL, though. So you take Baltimore, and then we will end. We're not going to get a good pick at a kicker. We're not even taking a kicker. But this is what our roster looks like. Dak Prescott, Jonathan Taylor, Omarion Hampton, Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Trey McBride, and Jerry Jeudy in our starting lineup. You can see a kicker empty. I only did 15 rounds. You'll have 16 in your real drafts. Baltimore Ravens defense, then on the bench, an upside-oriented wide receiver in Calvin Ridley, a handcuff to Omarion Hampton, a really good receiver in Stephon Diggs, another running back in Jaden Blue, Drake May as our backup, and Rico Dowdle as our final bench piece. I'm not sure where Brenton Strange went, but we took Brenton Strange. I like this draft a lot. I think we did a really good job. If you guys did enjoy this draft, make sure you leave a like and make sure you subscribe. We're doing a mock draft from every single pick in a 12-man league. So if you're picking from the 4th pick, the 7th pick, the 10th pick, there will be more videos coming out for you. Make sure you subscribe. You can turn the notifications on if you want. They will be out over the next couple weeks. I want to make sure you guys are ready for your fantasy drafts. As always, all my short form stuff is quick, updated, to-the-minute fantasy news, as well as fantasy draft strategies that won't be posted on YouTube. So make sure you're following over there. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you in the next video. God bless.